Hey everyone, sorry I couldn't be there today, but as I told you, you should have brought your earbuds to school today because your class will be entirely online. It also means that you are entirely responsible for today because you have no excuses as to why this lesson shouldn't be done unless you are sitting there playing games on your computer or fooling around. And just remember, I'm watching you. So today we are doing Lesson 5, Module 3, Unit 1, Lesson 5. You need to be able to cite evidence to analyze how the conflict escalated between Japan and the United States before the attack on Pearl Harbor. So again, we are pausing on Unbroken right now, even though you do have homework that you will be doing. But we are not looking at the book right now in class. We are continuing what we started yesterday. Speaking of homework, since I am not here today, what I will be collecting tomorrow, I will be collecting your homework number 4, which was due today. So if you didn't have that done, you have one extra night to do it. But now you also have homework number 5 due tomorrow as well. So those of you that got homework number 4 done, congratulations. You are on track and you only have homework number 5 to do tonight. Those of you that chose not to do homework number 4, you now have homework 4 and 5. Again, I'm going to just express the importance of keeping up with this reading or you're going to be extremely lost. Notice for homework number 4, it's only comprehension questions. Homework number 5, again, it's only comprehension questions. However, the parts that we're getting to in the story right now are so important to understanding some of the foreshadowing going on that you need to make sure you're keeping up with that. Do not fall behind on this homework. We all understand that? Great. And if you get done with your lesson today, you will have time to start all of this by the end of class. So you are busy. Get your work done. This is not the time to be fooling around. So again, what we're going to be looking at today is war in the Pacific. That was the article from yesterday. So if you were here yesterday, go to your Google Drive and reopen this. If you were not here yesterday, you're going to go to the module page on Canvas, look for yesterday's date, which was February 6th, and open up the document War in the Pacific. I'm going to pause and I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Again, the document you're looking for is going to look right here, text, War in the Pacific from Monday, February 6th, or you're going to be opening this in your Google Drive. So just to show you again what it looks like and give you all time to pull it up, I'm going to Model, making my copy, and pulling up the document. All right, so that should have been way more than enough time to get here. What we're going to be doing today, you will read this text again today to analyze how the conflict between the United States and Japan developed before the Pearl Harbor attack. So yesterday was kind of the precursor. It was almost like a first read. We were reading through it, making sure we understood any difficult vocabulary. We were discussing some of the things that we read. Now today is going to be the deeper meaning and analysis part of this. So, do we all have that open? And we're ready to continue. Great. Now, everyone, for today's lesson, needs to go back to Canvas and open up Lesson 5, February 7th, that's today's date, Escalating Conflicts Graphic Organizer, and make a copy. So again, I will show you where you're going. We are going to the module page. I'm just clicking back on my Canvas. I'm in Module 3. I'm scrolling down to today's date, February 7th, and I'm opening up Escalating Conflicts Graphic Organizer. Again, let me point out, this is worth 100 points today. So you do not want to hurt your average right now. Get the full 100 points by turning this in. Make your copy. And you should all be looking at this. I'll give you a minute, make sure everybody's there. All right, what you're going to be doing today is the first thing you have to be able to do is go back and look at this document from yesterday. So what you're going to be doing is reading each one of these boxes. So we're going to start with number 1, and you're going to be filling it in based off of the information that you see here. So within each paragraph, you need to be able to identify the year, the action, and if it escalated the conflict between the United States and Japan. But notice, we have a Japanese side and we have a U.S. side. So you need to be able to determine what happened in this paragraph. Was this an example of the Japanese attacking actions, escalating the conflict and leading towards Pearl Harbor? Or was this the United States actions that actually escalated things and led to Pearl Harbor? So you need to be able to determine which side you're putting this information on. So let's take a look at paragraph 1. We have in 1854, a U.S. naval squadron led by Commodore Matthew Perry arrived in Tokyo Bay near the Japanese capital. For more than 2 centuries, Japan had avoided almost all contact with Europeans and Americans. Perry's visit helped reopen Japan to foreign trade, and the Japanese began to adopt European technology such as steamships, railroads, and modern weapons, and many European-style institutions such as schools, a national legislature, and an army and navy. So, what I see here first is that the year is 1854, and that the action was that this Commodore Perry arrived in Tokyo. And actually, I see this word reopened, which is a positive thing, Japan to foreign trade, and the Japanese also adopted this European technology and styles. So I don't think that's a very bad thing. So, did this escalate the conflict? What do we think? No, it did not. So, we're going to go back to our chart now, and we're going to fill all of this in the first line. We are going to go to the Japanese side, because this was talking about Japan. It wasn't talking about the United States. It said that in 1854, someone from the United States went to Japan and did all of these things, and it did not escalate the conflict because this was a good thing that Japan now had the use of European technology and improvements to their society. They were happy. So notice I didn't just write no. I explained why this did not escalate the conflict. Because just remember, you need to always be able to defend your answer. If you just write no, I'm not going to understand your train of thought if that's incorrect. But if you are able to walk me through your thought process, I might be able to understand it a little better to either help clarify something or to explain how it actually is the opposite. So we have the first line for paragraph 1 filled out. We're going to do one more together. Here is your second paragraph. And I will actually pause here to make sure you can fill all of this in. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of clicking back and forth, and this might take you a while, but just take your time, make sure you have it all filled in. Give you about 20 more seconds. All right. If I am moving too fast, please feel free to pause this video and hit play when you are ready to go on to the next one. But I'm going to do one more with you. So now we're looking at box number 2, paragraph number 2. The Japanese also adopted the policy of imperialism or colonialism. Many Japanese believe that if Japan was to become wealthy and powerful, it needed to acquire industrially important colonies. In 1894, Japan went to war with China, and a year later won Korea and the island of Formosa, now Taiwan. Over the next 4 decades, Japan seized territory in Asia and the Pacific from China, Russia, and Germany. So the first thing I noticed was the year, 1894. Now we're talking about something in 1894. So this is a little bit later than 1854. 54 to 94, that's 40 years now we're talking. Now Japan, I see, went to war with China and now has conquered Korea, this area that's now Taiwan, and then 40 more years, because I know 40 decades is 40 more years, seized territory in Asia and the Pacific. That's the Pacific Ocean, like we looked in the map. So that's a huge, huge action. Why? Because as we talked about when we were looking at the geography of World War II, Japan eventually took sides with Germany and Italy. It was not on the same side as China and Russia. And this is definitely escalating the war. So, did this escalate the conflict? Absolutely. So now, with that information, you're going to go back to your chart to the next line. And you're going to actually fill that in. And I have that on the wrong side, so I don't want to show that to you. So, you are going to go back and fill this in on the Japan side. Not the United States side, the Japan side. So we are going to, I'm going to fix this right here with you guys on. Move this down to the next line. 1894, Japan went to war with China and conquered Korea and the island of Formosa. And this definitely created a conflict. There you go. Sorry for my mistake. So again, I will give you some time to just fill that in, or you can pause the video so you have as much time as you need. I will give you 1 minute. All right, so you are now going to do this on your own. You have the remainder of the class period to finish this graphic organizer. This information is needed for the rest of the week. So do not sit there and do nothing. Do not sit there and only have these 2 that I have now done for you filled in, because this will not help you. We are going to be coming back to this chart, and we are going to need this information moving forward, not only in these articles that we're reading, but in Unbroken as well, because these are all things that are happening behind the scenes that actually Louis doesn't even realize as we escalate towards World War II actually starting. Do not forget, I will be monitoring your screens. I am not off on some fun-filled adventure right now that I'm not on the computer. I am sitting in a class myself, so I have no problems monitoring your screen, and I will lock those that are not paying attention and notify either yourself or Mrs. Rayburn to take your Chromebooks and give you paper. This will be worth 100 points, so please make sure you finish it. When you are done, you are going to submit this on Canvas for full credit. You have 2 options. You can submit this through the website URL like we've done in class, or you can submit this through the Google Doc option, which I've been seeing some of you are finding it a little easy.